something like that. Actually, could you tell me, how do you think about the current situation and what kind of a strategy do you have to invite more investment in your country?
Yeah, first and foremost, I want to thank you for affording us this opportunity to have the interview. We're also grateful to the Japanese Prime Minister, the government, and the people of Japan for inviting us to visit Japan. And then the content of our meetings, our visitations, going to Nagoya, Toyota, mobility issues, and Toyota is beyond mobility. It's also energy, electricity, diversified energy. It's also pharmaceuticals through the Mission Pharma partnership, and then Kyoto visit, where we went to Horriba. Very, very important and high-tech business, which is very applicable to our needs in terms of testing capabilities in various sectors: water, sanitation, agriculture, soils, but also many, many other applications, medical, health equipment. And that's important to us in terms of our desire to uplift the health services delivery in our country. And waste management also, which we visited in Kyoto, but we know that in Tokyo you have modular waste management facilities, capabilities, using the best technology, and also relevant to our country. Then our meetings, the business forum, meetings with and I will touch about the issue of the investment framework that we agreed, agreement which is very important, provides, if you like, the cover for the many things that we want to do. So obviously this morning we have continued with meetings, the parliamentary team, very good breakfast, JICA, JOCMEC. So these interviews come at the right time. Yes, we'll be seeing the Emperor this afternoon, and we're looking forward to that meeting. Very delighted to basically crown it all. We're going to crown our visit.
Yeah.
So it's fantastic. Now, the question you asked, for us, Zambia and Africa, I think, are really ready for takeoff. Zambia is ready for takeoff. Our agenda as a government, this government as a country, is to focus on growth of our economy, growth and more growth.
Yeah.
So we can create jobs for our youthful population, 1, 2 business opportunities, again, to propel more growth, but also to generate treasury revenue to support our programs such as free education, health, as we talked about, looking after the sick, the old, those that live with disabilities, and indeed just to raise the living standards of our people, the quality of life of our people, sanitation, which we'll talk about. Indeed. Now, how do we want to do this?
Yeah.
That's your question.
Yeah, that's a point.
Zambia has endowments, gifted to us by God, many critical minerals. And yesterday at the forum, I was saying, business forum, Zambia is not about copper in the mining sector only. It's about copper. It's about cobalt. It's about nickel. It's about manganese. It's about lithium group metals and others. We believe it's about oil and gas, different types of gas, geothermal opportunities out of there. So that's one side of the question, the resource endowments that we have. So on the other now, that's what Zambia brings to the table. On the other, Japan and other countries, advanced countries, developed countries, have the capital. And we would like to access that capital at the right price. Right price. Because Zambia and Africa has been paying a higher price of capital, unfairly so. And that's why we are seeking the reform of the global financial architecture, so that we can pay the right price for our capital, which is we need to mobilize. Every country mobilizes capital. So, and the domestic capital mobilization is not adequate, but we are part of the global village, and there's mutuality when we organize capital in that way. Then number 2, the technology. From the first world, Japan and other first world countries, technology. And we don't want the second feeder technology. We want the best, top of the range technology, leapfrog on the technology. Of course, we benefit from the R&D of countries like Japan and others. So those are the 2 critical issues that we want to combine with our resource envelope, endowment and capital and technology, we come together on a third component, which I call joint venture. Right? So we bring what we've described. Japan and others bring the technology and capital. We work together in joint ventures. Number 3. Number 4, we work to add value. It's your question. To add value, to create the value chain, to process. And that will allow growth of our Zambian economy. It will allow the Japanese economy and business to access the critical minerals for the green economies of the future, given climate change damage. I think there's a symbiotic relationship there, mutual value for the businesses involved, governments and business involved, but for the people, Japanese people, Zambian people. And then we grow our economy, we create the jobs. Remember where I started from. I think that's my best way of answering your question. We now cannot continue with the old days where investors from the first world will come to Zambia and they will invest, exploit the resources, extract the rock, and export it on their own. No. They've got to work with us in joint ventures. We have examples at the Business Forum. I gave examples. We have a joint venture mining operation, in what we call a Mingomba American company, Cobalt, plus the Zambian Investment Group, called ZCMIH, in a joint venture. And we expect that this will lead to the value addition process. I mean, is from the mining sector, concentrators, smelters, and really to move towards refining. Refining copper.
Yeah, indeed.
So why you want to move
refining and the manufacturing?
Exactly. Yes. Refining. Why you want to move soil all the way to Tokyo from Zambia?
Yeah.
Rock. Let's value add. Let's make cables. These cables. Let's make electric cables. Let's make transformers. Let's make so many components in there. So that is really where Zambia wants to be. I think Africa wants to be, and I understand what Adesina, AFDB president, said. You touched on what he said here. This is our interpretation of what he said. It's not to work against Japan. It's not to work against China or America or England or Germany. It's to work for mutual benefit.
Yeah.
It's good for everybody. And I think the first world, Japan will access the critical minerals it needs. With the supply chain disruptions in the world, Zambia is a critical source of these metals and other endowments for the global community to benefit from. So combination, structured properly, mutually beneficial. That answers your question.
And you have lots of choices, to have a collaboration with the United States, China or Europeans, Japan.
Yes.
So what do you think about the Japan and the Japanese business society? What do you expect the Japanese? Yes.
I expect the Japanese to move into Zambia, eye Zambia, with not a squinty eye, but with a bigger open eye. I think they've been left behind a bit because their counterparts, the Americans, the Japanese, the Germans, given the size of economy that Japan has, third largest economy, third, fourth, it does not matter, still a very large economy. I think they need to look at Zambia as a true partner. And I'm very happy with the meetings we've had. I think the Business Forum interaction, as I said, the Prime Minister's meeting and the meetings we've had this morning, JICA, JOCMEC and others, I believe that, and Toyota in Nagoya and Oribe, as I said, I believe they're beginning, the Japanese businesses, industry, government are beginning to see what we have seen for a long time. And we have a long relationship with them, 60 years plus. The partnerships, Invest of Zambia and another invest in the vet school. So really we just now need to expand this partnership. What they saw 60 years ago is even now better presented now, given the political, democratic, human rights, rule of law environment. This is the time that they should come into Zambia. And we work together. We add value to each other for mutual benefit. So they must look at Zambia in a more straighter and bigger eye way. This is my expression.
And in the history, that Zambia has the strong ties with China, indeed. But the U.S. strategy
and Japan.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and Japan. We're not competing. We don't want to see Japan, China, America, Germany competing for Zambia.
Yeah.
No. Zambia is a partner of the friends, the community of the world, for mutuality.
Okay, but nowadays global society is really divided. But
Sure.
Your strategy is to create multilateral partnership with major economies, right?
Multilateral, bilateral,
Yeah.
business.
Okay.
Government to government, business to business, government to government plus business. All these combinations, these matrices are essential. For us, we see things differently. We don't see that Zambia is a beautiful girl that is looking for marriage, maybe polygamous marriage. No, we see that everybody has space with us. And we do not wish to see the polarized world, the politics of the world, east to west, to come into the fray. We think that we should use Zambia, countries like Zambia, as a moderator, as an opportunity for building joint businesses, but also for melting extremisms that lead to conflict. Japan and Zambia share a framework of peace, security, stability, so we can focus on the developmental ticket. And I think the big powers, who after all trade with each other, isn't it? Who is America's largest trading partner?
Yeah.
It's the same countries, China, Japan. So we're not driven by conflict. We're driven by complement.
Wow.
Not conflict, but complement. And I think the world should be a more peaceful world, so that every resource envelope component we have can be used for development, to advance the welfare of our people in many sectors, health, sanitation.
Excellency, I'd like to tell you, the Japanese business society, the 40, 50 years ago, that they are really focusing on, the manufacturing products and exporting to overseas. It's a kind of, made in Japan.
Sure.
And in the last 30 years, the Japanese companies, moved to overseas and to establish factories. It's made by Japan. But nowadays, they changed their strategy because we are facing with population declining society.
Yes.
So new strategy is made with Japan.
Correct.
So we'd like to have equal partnership, especially in African countries.
I think that's what I've described.
Yeah.
That Zambia brings something to the table.
Yeah.
This is the table. Zambia brings this resource endowment, critical minerals, water. We hope gases and other things. This is what we discussed with Jokmek this morning or earlier in the day. And then Japan, I've already said it brings the technology capital.
Yeah.
We put together. So made with Japan, made with Zambia.
Yeah.
Perfect.
For example,
We love it.
as for the agriculture, our agriculture population is declining, and we have plenty of, the agriculture technology. So I think, our collaboration could provide, lots of agriculture technology to your country.
We have already invited Japanese businesses, expertise, technology, water harvest, soil testing for river, for example, and also precision irrigation, which is the technology. Yes. Micro farmers, small, medium, large. Really, you crowned it off.
Your country is
Made with Japan.
Climate change.
Yes, climate change and droughts, floods, to mitigate all of this. This is why, really, I mean, you can talk of agriculture know-how, but it's also technical know-how in terms of, if you like, irrigation, in terms of energy, right?
Yeah.
We're discussing the energy mix with some of the businesses here, and Jomek and JICA, because of the need to irrigate, the need to have precision, and the need to have food security, not just for Zambia, for the region and for the globe, including processed foods, which is lighter to carry, rather than carry stuff that you don't need. The whole world, all the sectors actually now are parts of the same body. As the fingers here and the eyes, the nose. This is how we see it. From where I sit, as a chief servant of the people of Zambia, I see that this is the one ecosystem.
Wow.
So agriculture, energy,
Yeah.
health, everything.
Yeah.
So this is one ecosystem. So I like and I want to endorse the idea of made with Japan. So made with Zambia.
Yeah.
Japan in there, other countries are in there.
It's a really
You see, let me raise one thing that you haven't asked me a question.
Yeah.
If we want a peaceful world, a secure world, with less conflict, we need to have vested interest in each other. Because if Japan and Zambia have joint investments, why would Japan start a conflict with Zambia? Or why would Zambia start some conflict with Japan? So if we are interwoven, we're interconnected, we're vested interest in each other, we want to keep ourselves together, we protect each other. And we will hesitate to damage what we partially own, isn't it? By bombing it. Who would be the beneficiary? This is a world, more progressive world, beneficial to our people, ordinary people. Their lives will improve. Children will be in school. After school, to the college, to have a job opportunity, all of this. That is where my mind sits. And I think I would like us as a world to share that higher level, agenda, objective. And the rest is really specifics, is details in this sector and that sector, but it's all in one package. Yeah.
So the second question.
Yeah.
So in August, we Japan host the Japan African Summit.
Yeah,
So
sure.
could you tell me your expectation for the meetings? Not only as a position of the Zambia, but also the Africa.
Well, you're talking of TICAT. Are you talking of TICAT?
Yeah, TICAT.
Yeah. First is there's a Expo. I think it's in Yokohama. Huh? Yeah, Expo. Zambia will participate. And the TICAT. Osaka?
2025.
Yeah.
Osaka?
No, there's the Expo.
Yes.
And then there's the
TICAT.
TICAT.
Yes.
Yeah.
So-
Expo is in Osaka. The TICAT is in Yokohama.
Very good.
Yeah.
So both Osaka and Yokohama events, Zambia will participate. Zambia will participate, and I do believe a number of countries on the continent will participate. I think in the same line with the theme we're talking about, working with Japan. Made with Japan, made with Zambia, made with Africa. So I think we have already articulated an answer to that issue, this mutuality, the need for each other. Supply chain resources from Zambia, Africa are critical to Japanese business, and the Japanese technology capital is critical to Africa. That's the story. We can answer it ask the questions in many ways. But really, what I'm saying encapsulates what we believe Zambia and Japan should be doing together, Zambia and the rest of our region, Africa and Japan and the world should be doing together. We need a safer world. We need a more interdependent world. It's already there. But we need to have fair arrangements that makes Africa, Zambia succeed as well. I think in the 70s, 80s, it was to make the first world successful and to make Zambia, Africa continue providing only the raw materials. Now we need a fair relationship, in all respects. Equitous, partnerships. So, but about your question, Africa, I think, will be represented. Zambia will be there. Many African countries will be there. And then it will provide an
How about
opportunity.
you, Excellent? To Yokohama as well?
I said Zambia will be.
yeah.
So we'll select who goes to the Expo, who goes to because we have work at home as well.
Okay.
But really, Zambian teams will be in Yokohama, another team will be in Osaka, and I could be in one of the teams, but my colleagues could go to others.
But I hope to see you again in Yokohama in August.
Yeah, but really for what is what we've described.
Yeah.
To advance, to further what we've been doing for over 60 years, Zambia, Japan, what we're doing now, what we intend to do tomorrow, and so we can take things forward.
Yeah.
And get the job done for the benefit of our people, all our people. Thank you.
Okay, so the next question is, the economy. I understand that you are really focusing on, the economic growth and the investment, inviting the investment from overseas. So how do you analyze, the current, the economic situation in your country, especially after, the agreement of, the international debt restructuring?
Very positive. Very positive. I think we called the debt position, the debt situation, when we took office as the elephant in the room. Give it a name. We call it Mission Impossible, because it was so difficult, so complicated, convoluted, many parties, many lenders, different, repayment period, different interest rates and stuff like that. Cost of the term sheets were all different, if I may use a technical finance term. But we had to work hard to unravel that. We want to thank the G20 framework and Japan being a critical member for helping us achieve the debt restructuring. But it took too long because some of
long.
Exactly. So we hope that other countries coming behind us will have their job done much quicker, because by taking too long, it negated some of the gains we had made already. For example, the fight against inflation. As you know, inflation is the actual numbers, the actual production side, productivity, production side, but it's also sentiments, because the longer it took, the more the sentiments were that it may not happen, right? And the sentiments have a part to play. So we want these things to work quicker. But thank you to Japan and other countries for supporting us in that area. So we're putting to bed now, bolts and nuts, the issues around debt restructuring. But the effect is that it gives us some headroom. If I may call again financial term, national balance sheet, headroom is much better now for us to do the things we want to do on the economic growth side. Growth and more growth. So I think that would be my answer to that. So
but the point is, how to seize, the economic growth from now on.
That's the point.
So
it gives us the headroom for us to do more things, such as what? Investments, trade. That's really where it is now. In various sectors, mining, we have a target of 3 million tons of copper from around 800. In fact, it had gone down to 700,000 metric tons per year. Last year, under difficulties in energy shortages, we took it to 800,000 plus, 820,000 metric tons. And this year, by end of this year, we think break the psychological mark of 1 million tons of copper. That simply, you don't have to be trained in economics, finance to know that your economy will grow, our economy will grow. It's an example. Then energy. Working, that's why we talked about the energy mix and different things. That's why we are promoting investments here. Toyota, have agreed to come and invest in our sector, energy mix. We've had to do the reforms. That's another matter for your story.
So which industry are you considering to focusing on to implement the economic growth?
Mining.
Mining,
Energy.
Energy.
I was going that way. Energy. Infrastructure. Because we need the infrastructure. Agriculture.
Agriculture,
Agriculture. Manufacturing. Very, very important, where the value addition takes place. But in agriculture, our focus is to improve not just production, but productivity. So I don't want to go into detail. This is immediate. Many people don't look at the details, but the issue is for your own file. The issue is that we've been producing at a very low levels of productivity. So our focus now is to improve productivity. To give an example, to scale up productivity per hectare from 2 tons per hectare, say of maize or corn, you may call it, to 7-10 tons. To do that, we need technology. In what area? Irrigation, genetics, seed, and others. Of course, husbandry, in terms of soil fertility.
More management of
husbandry. That's what I call husbandry, crop husbandry. Finished. So we're very clear what needs to be done, and we're working towards that. Already the economy, we inherited the economy at minus 2.8% GDP growth. Under difficulties, we've already been able to scale it up. There's evidence.
But so far, the Zambian economic growth is very sluggish. So, how much the economic growth are you expecting?
No. Just to correct your record, we inherited the economy which was growing at negative minus 2.8% GDP growth. And in the first, this is our 3rd year in government. The first 2 years, we scaled it up to 4% almost. From minus 2.8,
Yeah.
take it to 4% almost. You're talking about effective growth. It was over 6%.
Oh,
Right?
really?
Yeah, I mean, from the minus to a positive. Yeah, sure. From a minus to a positive, it's just arithmetic. You work out your numbers. So now, the only thing that disrupted our growth, which you call sluggish, was the drought. And that's why we are responding to
And maybe
irrigation, energy mix away from hydro, which was green already. That's the story. But we're very clear of what needs to be done and then how to walk there. This year, with the better rains, I think colleagues have been talking about better rain, we hope to go over 5% growth.
Wow.
That's not sluggish. From minus 2.8%, that's not sluggish.
Yeah.
Clear.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
but we need more
one
support.
short question. So, Miyashiko-naka.
Yeah, allow them. No big deal.
I want to ask about how well Japan is doing investments compared to other countries such as China, European countries, United States.
Japan is behind.
Japan is behind.
Japan is behind, and that's why we are here. We want to make sure that Japan sees what we see earlier in the meetings here. I was talking about Japan must open its eyes, not a bit, but wide, to see the opportunities in Zambia. To see the opportunities in Zambia, which are mutual benefit, the critical minerals. Japan is a big economy, high tech. They must come into Zambia and they're left behind. My simple answer is that Japan is behind now. They need a catch-up game. They need to do a catch-up exercise. And I think we're very happy with the field we have, having talked to business, government first, business and specialized institutions, JOMAC and exploration, Chaka and others. We're very happy. Companies, Toyota, Oriba, others.
Okay. So among the Asian countries, what countries are doing the best? And Japan is like, what rank is the position like?
I wouldn't off the cuff say it is rank number, but obviously there's no question that China is ahead of Japan in investing in Zambia, if you want to hear that sort of comparison. But for us, it's not about China versus Japan. It's about what we do with China, what we do with Japan, and the joint opportunities that Japan and Zambia has together. I think that's where it's also not just Japan alone to push. It's us in Zambia to push for what we want from Japan, and that's why we're here. That's why we're here.
Excellency, just look at me to speak something.
Yes, I was saying
we need to photos.
it's also about what we in Zambia do to attract the Japanese investments. In as much as Japan may be behind, but maybe it's also our fault we've not marketed ourselves properly with Japan. And having a long relationship, 60 years plus, we should have been doing a bit more of what we're doing. And I think it's never late. It's never late. It's never late. There's room for everybody. And Japan has a critical role to play in this partnership. Very good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Very good. Very good. I hope we answered your question.
Yeah, thank you very much indeed. Yes.
But journalists ask so many questions, but they only use very little.
Yeah, so that's journalist.